seconds on the chicane. It's been a dramatic day in just about every category that's been on track. We're ready to go racing at Monza. Round 2 of GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Endurance Cup. The Temple of Speed is about to play host to what could be an absolutely outstanding race then, with so many imponderables. The cars slowly make their way up towards the timing line. Niels Vitic, the race director, ready to give the signal to change the lights from red to green as we get set to go racing. Ricardo Feller peels a little bit to the outside there. He may regret doing that. Gets back into the train though now. The lights on red. Blink to green, we go racing. And Ricardo Feller is on his toes. Here comes the Porsche, then straight between the other two cars. Mustang on the right, Audi on the left. It is going to be Arjun Maini who leads, and Maxime Martin then in the red and white Mercedes makes contact, and again a Boots and Porsche demolished, and there's absolute mayhem, and that takes out the leaders. 6, 7, 8, 9 cars, absolute mayhem, and all of that was triggered long before the corner.
It was just, it went on early. That was the problem. Row 6, Juncker got a mega start to start with. It was only the 17 Get Speed car that did it officially. There must be 9, 10, 12, 15 cars wiped out, and it's still going on. We're under green still at the moment.
Maxime Martin then is the race leader. Mauro Engel is second. In third place it's Picariello, and Valentino Rossi is in fifth behind Danny Junqueira as they come up towards the first chicane, and it might kick off here as well as people get crossed up under braking. But you've had pretty much the first 4 rows of the grid eliminated. I thought that Martin was the one that rather triggered it as he tried to get back into the queue, but he's come out as the race leader. But that's the Mustang, just wiped out the Audi from the front row. It's just wiped out completely. It's taken the front of the grid out of the race. Like I say, I don't know what else you do with that chicane, but it's almost impossible to get this many cars through.
Yeah, and I thought it was the other VDS car got involved. Picariello luckily went through. Junqueira said, okay, straight to safety car. Cars will slow down. Look at the 46 car of Rossi. He picked his way through incredibly well. I think it was the Stella Corvette getting involved with the Rutronic Lamborghini down at the second chicane, but they lived to fight on. But that was a huge amount of contact, and I do see what you're saying, David. This red-nosed Mercedes swept out to the inside, and then the track narrows, and he had to go somewhere. And was that the Constantine effect, side to side?
So we've lost Arjun Maini, we've lost Wiebelhaus, that's both Mustangs gone, Ricardo Feller has gone, Gilles Magnus has gone, and I think Kirchhoff has been involved in it as well. That is the third race in a row that a Boutsen, the same car, number 10, is eliminated on lap 1. Paul Ricard, Brands Hatch, Monza. What do they have to do to get a break? Even changing the driver from Robbie Knudsen to Gilles Magnus hasn't helped. But look, that's an absolutely written-off Porsche, 2 demolished Mustangs, a broken McLaren, and there's a Ferrari in there as well. So number 80, that was Ricardo Feller. He'd made a decent enough start from the second row of the grid, but that's demolished. That's Marvin Kirchhoff's McLaren. That's destroyed. Look at the pole-sitting Mustang. All that hard work, it's barely got to turn 2. I mean, that's completely destroyed, isn't it?
There's 150,000 euros worth of damage on that one. And look at HRT.
Both cars destroyed at turn 1 through no fault of either driver. As I say, I don't know what else you do with that chicane, but 57 cars into one line did not go, which is the Ferrari that we've lost as well. That's Rovera's car, isn't it? Alessio Rovera's Ferrari, that's out of the race as well. And it's not just bad luck, it's tears for HRT. So much work in qualifying for nothing.
We spoke about how it's just qualifying. This is the race, but you've got to get through turn 1.
But even on pole, you're not safe, because if people come flying up behind you, you still get obliterated. Go and ask Arjun Maini.
That would have been the worst thing. He did everything right. He got a good start. He got it stopped. He got the apex. Honestly, he would have taken a sigh of relief as he was at the apex of one going, this is good, everything's okay.
Bang.
Whack. And it was a big whack as well. And we're seeing the Aston Martin 007 come in. Talking about damage, I'm pretty sure I saw a lot of damage on the front of the 3 Verstappen.com car of Juncker as well, who initially got a mega start. He was my hot shot into turn 1, but he got caught up in all of this as well as the clear-up goes on. Look at the oil coming out of Marnie's car as well. So that's done the engine, at least maybe the radiators. Hopefully Kirchhoff's car is completely destroyed as well. And guys in the mid-pack, that must have been crazy trying to pick their way through. Luckily the momentum has taken all those cars off the track and at least left someone there. And we saw this at Paul Ricard, didn't we? And I quickly called it day done for the 007, but I think this one could be day done just on the amount of damage.
Yeah, exactly. It's more than a puncture this time, isn't it, for the Aston? So we are behind the safety car, not surprisingly, and that has taken out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars effectively. 1 or 2 have just pitted and rejoined. Bashar Mardini's Porsche rejoining. Right, let's have another look. I called it at the start. Joe, you call it this time.
It's just the sheer amount of cars. So look all the way back to the 6th row. The red-nosed Mercedes goes to the inside initially and then gets the momentum, and now he swings to his right. And is that the reason why everyone starts to pinch up? Rovera goes over to defend, and as Martin comes back, I think there's contact between himself and the Ferrari. That sends the Ferrari into Nicky Team, takes out the Boutsen car, then wipes out Kirchhoffer, who had a megastar, and he's really the wrecking ball through no fault of his own. That strong carbon fibre tub McLaren that started all the way back on the 8th row, wiped out our leader. So he had a great start, but unfortunately he gets turned around with all the contacts, and he's just innocent in there. And it's so hard to apportion blame, and it's easy with this many cars damaged to really want to point a strong finger. But like you said at the start, I think it's got to be Maxime Martin from coming from an off-track position effectively. Yes, Rovera ushered him over there, but as he came back on, the contact between the Ferrari and the Mercedes was the catalyst to all of that.
He was over the white line as well, wasn't he, Maxime Martin? And it was almost as though he thought, I need to get into the queue here, and had to sort of elbow his way in a little bit.
And listen, I've raced against Maxime since 2008. Super friendly guy, super honest, hard racer. All these professional drivers are hard. Let's look down from the drone. Each of these cars, 500, 600, 700,000 euros of damage being used like a destruction derby car at your local wrecking fest. Cars picking their way through. There's an Audi there. Was that Ferrari involved that gets away in the end? He's looking like he actually doesn't have that much damage. Cars on the gravel, on the exit. But going back to my point about Maxime Martin, you've got to overtake. You're a racing driver. It looked fair. He had momentum. He didn't want to lift. So we're looking back now. Where is that? Kirchhoffer's 59 car. So Rossi is somehow going to get all the way through here. We're looking back from Nicky Team's 007 Aston Martin. He's getting the front damage. That's where it goes. And then we're going to the inside. This is where Kirchhoffer's just in front, wrecking the Mustangs. And you can see Maxime Martin just about survived. And that's now going to get past him. Martin, the only one to go cleanly through turn 1, but potentially escaping the scene of the crime that he created.
So 57 cars. We said it was going to be a pinch point. We were not wrong about that. And those actually in the body of the field towards the back, they are the ones that have got away for a change. It was largely the front of the grid that got wiped out. But yeah, your first... The front row of the grid is virtually disappeared. The second row of the grid has certainly gone, and half of the third row has gone. Here it is again. Have a look. Kirchhoffer is the one that comes into the Mustang, takes the rear of it. The Porsche impact is huge. It lifts it off the ground.
Luckily for all the drivers involved, it's on the passenger side, so big impact, but luckily not in the driver's door. Look at that in slow motion. Try and pick the body parts there. The 007 comes flying through. I'm sure Nicky Team, the character he is, was screaming through there through fear and laughter and equal measures being the way he's wired up. But I have to admit, I thought more cars were going to get involved at initial hit. That's why I started with 4, 5 and then went up to 12 of my estimation of how many got wiped out there. And just to finish my Maxime Martin point, he's a class act on and off the track. He's just had to roll the dice, and this time it hasn't worked for him. No malice intended, but what do we see here from Mara Engel's 48 car? Jim Cadeo in that Red Bull car gets damage on the front. Where's that from? And
oh, wow! How lucky was he?
How quickly did he read that? He was like turning right and going, I don't fancy this anymore. It's like when Waze fires you a route that will save you 12 seconds. He takes it hard, gets on the throttle, and actually clears the chicane in the lead. And I assume Martin now blasts fast with the momentum from carrying through on the proper course through turns 1 and 2. We stayed green for a long time, didn't we? We were green all the way until coming out of Lesmo 2, so the race was still on. And this is hard as a driver. You know there's been a huge shunt. Martin goes in deep there. Shows you that maybe Engel could have got the lead. Martin then closes the door. Emotions high. That was a... I mean, that by itself would get investigated by race control. Did he close the door too late on Engel? Both Mercedes factory drivers for separate teams. So here's Rovera. We're going to have Maxime Martin swing around the back of us on our right. Why is there contact? Where is Martin in relation to us? He's in front. He squeezes across, and that way makes it look less on Martin because Martin was more in front. But Rovera had to check up because Martin had not cleared the front of his car.
but Martin is overtaking the wrong side of the white line there. He runs out of road. He tries to get back into the queue. That's where the contact comes. The first casualty is Gilles Magnus. So you've got a destroyed Boots and Porsche already. And then here comes Kirchhofer, spiralling into the pack. And that just creates utter mayhem. Nicky Tim, I think, Tim hits the front of the spinning mining. That's where the damage has come on the Aston. And look, it takes a long time for any car to arrive through the chicane on the right line. Maxime Martin emerges in the lead. I can't think of another time where we've talked about Maxime triggering an incident.
No, and I get what you're saying exactly, David. He was off track. I just wonder if he actually did keep wheels on the white line. As long as there was a wheel on the white line, that counts as the track. He didn't go all 4 wheels off, but I still think it was the swinging action of him coming in front of Rivera. The first shot, I thought it was more door-to-door, and that triggered it, but it was really the rear bumper of Martin cutting across the front of that Ferrari that triggered it all. Of course, race control will investigate. The important bit is that Martin is now our race leader, so there is importance, I think, that race control make the right decision relatively quickly.
Just looking down from the drone a moment ago at the chicane, it is very clear already. So great work has gone on. Let's hear, as Valentino Rossi is pitted, by the way, from Nicky Tim with Nina Jade.
Nicky, we're going to show you a replay of the start. Can you talk us through it?
What can I say? It's typical Monza carnage. Everyone's trying to get a jump on each other. I had a good run here. Going in between now a McLaren and a Ferrari. And then I just got squeezed right, you see there. And now I have no steering, so it was just arms crossed and hoping that I didn't hit anyone. What a shame. It's just very bad for the championship. But what can we do? Destroyed car, no points. It's worst outcome, but it's just the chance you have when you stand in the middle of the pack in Monza. Everyone up, but it's wrong time, wrong place.
Unfortunately, you were just a passenger there, Nicky. Commiserations.
Come in? Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Enjoy.
So Nicky Tim tries to be as upbeat as possible, but stalked away. Bad for him, bad for the championship. And there you can see great work by the Monza marshals and recovery crew, because we can't be far off going racing.
No, we really can't. And Nicky Tim says that's the problem. He started mid-pack. He started 10th. He was in the top 20%. Imagine all the guys behind him.
Well, yeah. Just quickly, Valentino Rossi has been in, Gilles Stadsbader has been in, Ariel Levi in, James Kell, Rolf in Icon. So some of the teams electing to get one of those mandatory stops out of the way. That could be really important for 46 BMW. We know how good WRT is at reading strategy.
Yeah, it was earlier than I thought they can go in terms of them not having to do an extra stop potentially. They're banking on extra safety cars in every stint. So if there's a safety car that we're under, this stint now goes to 57 minutes, not 52. But my math, they need that to happen in a future stint that isn't this one.
Thomas Drouet eliminated from the race. Let's hear from him.
Well, Thomas, there's utter devastation here inside the garage, and I can only feel for you all. It's both cars out, and it was such a great performance.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, we started the pole and the other car P3 overall, and still we are destroyed in the turn 1. We know it's a big risk here in Monza, but it's a shame that it happens. And you see how many cars are destroyed in the grass. It's not normal, so I really think we need to watch the footage again, and some needs to sink before they take a start, because it cannot happen.
I won't ask you any other questions, so I know that you'll probably say something that you can't take back.
No, the thing is, we really need. I mean, the team did a really good job, so I'm so happy that we had a good quali, and we will come back stronger.
Let me just show you. They're going to show the replay again just on here, so you can relive this horrible moment. But just give us your thoughts. Talk us through.
Well, I think we saw that there's a Mercedes going like really wide in the pit lane exit, and then I think coming back on the track, they had a contact with some of the cars, and it's just bullying game then. So yeah, difficult to say, but I think they wanted to try everything on turn 1, but you cannot win the race in turn 1, so that's a shame.
Thank you so much for talking to us,
Thomas Drouet then, and that's very bad news. Valentino Rossi, I said, had pitted, but he's got a problem. The car has not made it out. It has ground to a halt at the pit exit. This could be electrical. It looks like it's got no power, no lights, no nothing.
Strange failure. They've done the pit stop. They've left their box, and it just ground to a halt on pit exit. They're lucky that it was before the exit line, so they could push it back. But they've gone a lap down. This is day done, and Yeah, like you said, David, there's no headlights on, but the Lumarank in the windscreen is still on, so there's an element of power in the car. I saw one of the mechanics saying it's day done with his gesticulation with his hand, and gutting after a mega start for Valentino, the man himself, and the...
yeah, out of the car.
Trudges away.
And that is a rare failure, isn't it, for a WRT BMW, because normally they are bulletproof. Others are cycling through pit stops. Simon Birch has just been in, Mikkel Mack in the Corvette, forgive me, Luca Engschler's Rutronic Lamborghini was still under safety car here, and many of them taking this opportunity to get one of those 3 mandated stops out of the way. I wouldn't advise Bryn or Nina Jane to go near Valle just yet.
No, helmet staying on, obviously, and that's always the easiest way as a driver to make sure no one talks to you, and then if they really get close, you put your visor down and speed up your pace slightly.
So the field is on lap 5, and that's your leader, Maxime Martin, but what Thomas Drouet was suggesting was pretty similar to what you and I have been saying ourselves, wasn't it, about that car being very, very wide and trying to get back into the queue and contact as he elbowed his way back in. But it's being investigated, and we await news from race control. Lights are still on top of the safety car, and Maxime Martin, the leader from Maro Engel. Alessio Picariello is in 3rd place. Danny Juncadella is 4th. You said there was damage on the front of that car. Yes, it's there on the front right, isn't it? 5th is Franck Pereira. Now, the Grasser Lamborghini has had a big win. I know it's a slightly false 5th, given how many cars have been taken out ahead of it, but it's 5th. 6th is Dante Raponge, and then in 7th place is Max Lynn in the RJN McLaren. 8th is Dustin Blattner. 9th was Simon Birch, but he's pitted. That's going to give Renat Salikov 9th, and 10th will be Augusto Farfus. So this race is going to turn out to be very different from what we had by way of a grid.
Yeah, and the cars boxing now are the first cars for me that can get to the end without another safety car.
Okay.
We had 9 interruptions last year, so the other cars have just run the maths. Everyone that stopped before this bunch need 1 more safety car to get an extended stint time. That extra 5 minutes afforded. Remember, that can be at any point at the stint. It doesn't need to be during the pit stop window. At any point, the next stint gets extended.
The pit exit is closed, Legend, has just come up on the screen. So these cars coming in...
I think it's just an overzealous message. The pit lane gets closed when the pack is going past, which is happening right now. I don't know why it's come up as a separate message.
Yeah, because it's the first time it has happened within the effectively 5 laps of safety car. However, the teams will be on top of that, and so will race control, I'm sure, as the field turns through. There's the surviving Garage 59 McLaren going through its first of 3 regulation stops.
So the pit stop, 46 seconds, that fuel needs to be connected to the screen. The fueler can see counting down, that will drop and it will go. And because this is the asterisk pit stop, no driver changes going on, and at the moment no left side tyres I've seen change either. Race on pit lane between the Kessel Ferrari and also the Audi.
Yeah, Dustin Blattner and Simon Reicher there almost overlapping, and then the 21 Aston joins in ahead in the queue.
To me, looks like an unsafe release by the 74 Ferrari, because the car of the Audi already in the fast lane, and the Audi luckily lifted for the Ferrari because of the Aston and also Rossi's car in the way.
So we're still under the safety car, and I suspect that might stay out a little bit longer while we've got all these pit stops cycling through. Once perhaps we have a lap where nobody is pitting, then Niels Vitic will make his call. I'm not entirely sure what else needs sorting, and the safety car indeed is in this lap, so we're ready to go racing this time around. 21, that Aston was Oliver Söderström.
Surprised some of these leaders haven't taken this stop, especially this car, because it could have got some tape on that bumper. Maybe 2Cs have looked at it from the pit wall and decided it's okay. Luckily for them, the splits are okay. That's the main way the car generates downforce on the front end. It will be a bit draggier the way it's popping up. My worry is the amount of curb you have to use around here to be fast. That headlight, I think, has got a potential of falling out. It doesn't probably have the support on the brackets as we get back ready for the restart.
Now let's have a look at Maxime Martin. Comes back across, and there's the contact that we saw. So yeah, the more I look at it, I still come back, I'm afraid, to Maxime Martin being guilty.
Yeah, I removed my comment as well that he stayed on track. That was completely wrong from me.
Well, we go racing. The green flag is out, and so at the end of lap 6, we're back in business at Monza. Maxime Martin leads across the line. That incident is being investigated, so any penalties come, we'll tell you. It is Martin ahead of Engel, and then in third, Alessio Picariello. And this time it's a lot calmer as everyone's in single file.
Juncadea's got smoke coming from that front corner. The bodywork rubbing against the tyre. Not too bad at the moment, but if that gets worse, then the 2C team are going to have a look at that car. Look at the progress, from some of the cars. Andrew Olo there, 33 places. Reece Barr behind him, 36, 41, 42 places gained. Some big winners from the big losers at Turn 1.
Absolutely right, with, of course, a chunk of the field no longer actually in the race. So we've lost very nearly 9 cars as there Ivan Klimenko dives up the inside of Renat Salikov, Audi ahead of Mercedes. But it's 3 for the lead, isn't it? You've got Martin from Engel and Picariello's Porsche looking prodigiously pacey right now as they go up through the first of the 2 Lesmo bends. So Mercedes 1, 2, Porsche 3, Mercedes 4. And then in 5th place, Max Lynn having the drive of his life in the RJN McLaren, leading currently in silver.
And we've got a big group of cars here. There's a lot of people out of position that would have got caught up at Turn 1. Didn't get wiped out, but lost places. We're hearing that there's the 46 car has a clutch issue. Let's listen to the radio.
Stanley, still no update from race control.
Yeah, but now a lot of cars have fitted. Don't think it makes sense, right?
Yeah, so they're gambling on an EDS later on. Because so many cars have stopped, they were better off staying out and going for a full course yellow.
Yeah, I agree.
Danny Junqueira being told that teams are gambling on an EDS, an extended driving stint, which would include a yellow flag in a stint later in the race.
Yeah, Al Fleming there from 2Cs, worked with him at Optimum Motorsport, great guy. And just trying to calm Danny down there, and my worry is here the pace isn't going to be there with the damage still rubbing on the tyre. It is a tyre-limited circuit here. Luckily for Danny, it's on the left side. The right tyre affected has got a bit more life and a bit more bite, but you can see he's having to defend now from the McLaren of Lynn. Polystyrene getting kicked up, and yeah, I worry here. And just interestingly, you gain more under a full course yellow than the safety car because of the bunching of the safety car. There's a lot of strategy at play here we'll talk about in the remaining 2 hours and 39 minutes.
So Martin, Engel, Picariello, Junqueira, Lynn and Klimenko up to 6th. Salikov in 7th place at the minute. 8th is Andriolo, 9th is Reece Barr, 10th is Alex Malikian as the cars wriggle through the chicane. Mikkel Mack gets turned around in the Corvette. He's a sitting duck. People go left and right. Mikkel Mack thankfully spins the car out of the way and gets going down. That could have been nasty.
Yeah, just trying to work out who it was. So he had Ortega behind him in the Mercedes, Bobby Thompson in the BMW, sorry, as a dive fair from the WRT. The 30 car gets past the Aston Martin. I think it's going to bring the Valkenhurst Aston Martin as the BMW goes to the inside, and it's getting tight. I feel like there's another crescendo coming. It's just about where.
BMW up the inside then through the Lesmo bends they go, and in pro it is Maxime Martin leading the way. Silver Max Lynn, bronze Renat Salikov. We haven't got many golds left. The best of them is in 17th, James Kell in the number 111 McLaren. So we started with 57 and we are effectively down now to 48. We've lost Harry George somewhere. We've obviously lost Mattia Drudi, but the number 4 Optimum McLaren's also looking like it's out of the race as a legacy of the damage. Danny Junqueira 4th. He's steadying that ship now, isn't he? He's not staying with the leaders, but he's not falling too far away.
No, he'll be breathing a sigh of relief at the moment as we see him 3 wide into Parabolica. You can see there the 2 cars fighting in the bronze class. The BMW from the Curie Cross Aston Martin with the Audi tucked up behind, and then the Paradine BMW as well. This is the great thing with GTWC Challenge. Yes, we had 57 cars at the start, but across 4 classes, we've got 4 races for the price of 1.
They're going over the line is the Blackthorn and Curie Cross Aston Martin, the Caro Giacomo Petrobelli, the blue Aston Martin. He's involved in a big battle, coming now down towards that first chicane, into which he's on the outside line. BMW, the Paradigm car there, trying to creep up on the inside. That was James Callett's car, I think, getting through the corner. Yeah, so Giacomo Petrobelli dropping back a little bit. Callan Williams going great guns in the BMW. Callan back in the championship after a season away, the British-based Australian, and his BMW booming away up the road as the cars now. There is Callan Williams' car, come into the chicane. James Callett back on the inside, goes through, nicely done. The BMW Paradigm ahead of the Aston Martin of Blackthorn.
Yep, silver graded driver James Kelly getting past the bronze graded driver of Petrobelli. Petrobelli's pace has been good, but this is the problem when you start the bronze. You've got a lot of fast drivers around you, so you have to stop the rut at some point. Each time you get overtaken, it's a time loss. The risk of damage goes up. At the end of the race, you've got the better strategy if you're still on the lead lap with 4 wheels on your car.
So Maxime Martin leads the way, comes then out of the chicane. That car started, don't forget, on the 6th row. Maxi Goetz and Fabian Schiller, the other drivers. So gives you an idea of exactly the drama of turn 1. Row 6, leader, coming out of the chicane. Engel is still second, Picariello third. The damage not getting any worse for Jean Cadea. That's the leading Silver Cup car, the McLaren in the hands of Max Lynn. And then behind is another Silver Cup car, the Audi, the Santa-Lock Audi of Ivan Klimenko.
Talking of damage, saw some damage on the nose of our race leader, Maxime Martin. And the only thing I think is interesting there is around the grille area. And later on in this race, there gets so many stones everywhere. If he's not got his grille radiator covered, then potentially a problem there later on. At the moment, okay on the 17 lead car.
Renat Salikov turns through there ahead of Roman Andriolo. Salikov is leading in bronze. Third in silver is Andriolo. Fastest lap of the race, by the way, is the recovering Audi of Lorenzo Ferrari. So he seems to have got away unscathed, relatively speaking. Badly delayed, yes. But that car now doing very good lap times, and he's up to 24th place. So maybe Trezor Temto Racing can salvage a result from this as long as they keep out of trouble for the remaining 2.5 hours.
Yeah, talking about our bronze-graded driver, Salikov is amazingly fast here, isn't he? He's really holding his own. When you think in the sister car, Mauro Engel is up the road on him, but not by much at all. Still within 7 seconds of him. He's had a mega start to this race.
Not only has Ferrari caught back up, he's also made one of those 3 pit stops. Mathis Liesmond, by the way, number 30 BMW, has made 3 pit stops already. So might be with a problem, but also it will have got one of those regulation stops out of the way. But obviously they're going to still have to pit given the fuel and tyres.
It's a WRT special, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But now their strategy that won them the race way back when it was Sam Dehan, Klinman and Ahmed Al-Hati when they were in the bronze class there to win. That was incredible, and that was what they did. But then the rule of maximum and minimum stint times was introduced, so going to be a hard race for the 30 car there to go all the way.
So race leaders currently work lap 10. You're looking at the Gold Cup train as they come down towards the Parabolica. There is James Kell in the McLaren leading the class. The driver's name on the Lumi rank as he turns into the corner. So this car currently 16th. The class opposition, Simon Birch, in 23rd. So he's got quite a bit of traffic between himself and the opposition as James Kell as he comes now over the timing line. And the McLaren goes through. We've obviously lost Garage 59 McLarens, but James Kell's car for CSA Racing going nicely and with quite a nice cushion over the traffic behind. And a big battle going on now. Look, Giacomo Petrovelli in the blue Aston at the head of the queue as they come diving down towards the chicane. Cars on the left, cars on the right. Breathe in, everybody. There's some late breakers in the background. And yes, they have just about made it through safely, but that was a bit touch and go. No, they haven't made it through safely. BMW and Ferrari go nose to nose, and it's number 71 Ferrari. That's Simon Birch's car that's been turned around.
Yeah, he's got to try and find a space. He does it quickly and efficiently. Luckily for him, I thought Birch was going to get beached, but he gets out of there. But a lot of time lost and up to the 21 car on the exit. Spoke slightly too soon, David. I thought you were all right. It kicked off at turn 2. We're seeing that happen a bit here at 4 and 5 as well. Remember that 30 BMW is the one that's done its 3 stops. So this is a strategy that we're going to have to keep an eye on, and at the moment they're going to need a lot of full course yellows and safety cars towards the end of this race for it to make it work.
Bobby Thompson's Paradigm BMW is being given a drive-through penalty for pushing another car. Replay of the dramas into the chicane. BMW tags Ferrari.
I actually almost think it was the Audi loosened him up and the BMW then hit him because he was spinning. I feel the Audi went in the back first, which made the car of Simon Birch in that Ferrari spin round. That car had been so competitive in qualifying, especially with Frederick Schandorf as well, so tough break for the Danish run Ferrari.
But it has rejoined it back into the race, and we've still got 2 hours and 32 minutes to go. There's another big effort he's made there on the inside line, looked by Charles Weerts to try to get ahead of Ralph Bowen in one of the 2 Herbert Motorsport Porsches, the other one being the Ziggo Sport Tempesta entry. As there over the timing line comes this battle side by side. Look, BMW and Porsche absolutely dead set level, and the BMW will have the inside line for the first part of the chicane. And in fairness, that's a pro battling with a bronze entry. Charles Weerts clears in advance, but actually Ralph Bowen comes back in it. That's rather impudent, but Charles Weerts stays ahead.
Yeah, he shows his nose, didn't he, just to show I could overtake you if I won, but I know for the class battle it's not the correct thing to do.
Like a dog with a bone.
Yes. Yeah, and Ralph carries on, and I'm sure he'll be very happy.
Absolutely right. Charles Weerts then up into 11th place. And upholding BMW honour, there is Danny Juncadella then going through in 4th place. Maxime Martin, by the way, now starting to build the lead. He's done the fastest lap of the race. And an update on Lorenzo Ferrari as he tries to fight back in the Audi delayed early on. He's dropped back a couple of places now.
Yeah, and the damage still visible, but the smoke lessening to a point where I can't see it. He makes his own smoke running through the gravel trap on the exit of Lesmo. Obviously, the tyre won't change its diameter, but obviously it's worn away the bodywork that was fouling upon that Pirelli. A tiny puff of smoke. Obviously, as the car builds speed, the car lowers with the downforce, and under braking, maybe we'll see a puff. We don't. That would be a breath of relief for the 2Cs Verstappen.com car. And Danny Juncadella here will now keep going. But these guys that didn't take that early pit stop will really need a full course yellow or a safety car within the 57 minutes of this opening part of the race.
As down comes Danny Juncadella then. Lots of the teams getting the 3rd stop out of the way as the 1st stop, if you like, the extra stop, if you prefer to describe it thus. So Maxime Martin leading by 11/10 of a second at the minute from Maro Engel. Half an hour of the race done. Bobby Thompson's drive-through serve. This is Giacomo Petrobelli under attack now because he's got the Ethan Isher Aston behind him, and then also Rolf Eichen in the JMW Ferrari, the Tim Sugden managed team. Spencer Aldridge, a very successful touring car engineer, looking at the data as well. And a replay here of more fun and games down at the chicane. Who do we see this time? This is the Mikkel Mack. Ah, that was Bobby Thompson hitting the Corvette. That's why he got the drive-through.
Yeah, he was one of my 2 options, Bobby Thompson, and showing his British touring car heritage there with his racecraft.
Don't know what you mean. Non-contact sport touring car racing, Osborne. What on earth are you saying? Way up the curve, Ethan Isher as he tries to get past Giacomo Petrobelli, but all that serves to do is open the door to Mathis Liesmann now in the BMW, who comes storming up the inside. On the outside line is Rolf Eichen. All of this is going on for 17th place, but what a fight!
Petrobelli was looking in his rearview mirror, and then I think he'll adjust it so he can't look behind. It's like when you walk into the lounge and your kids have made a mess, you just close the door and walk away. Petrobelli is causing a huge fight behind him. He's well within his right. He's driving clean, he's driving fast, but he's creating an issue behind him of what's this going to be, 10 to 11 cars.
Hang on a minute, he's also pulled away by a couple of lengths the other side of the chicane, so Petrobelli trying to respond as Ethan Isher defends now from Mathis Liesmann as the BMW looks for a way through. Then you've got Eichen, then the Valkenhorst Aston of Jamie Day. Sebastian Oegaard is next in the queue, I think. No, sorry, Sean Gallile is next in the queue, and then it's Augusto Farfus and Hugo de Wilde. 2 more BMWs looking to make progress, but Petrobelli starting to scarper.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's kind of working people back into him, isn't he? I was worried at turn 2 when Aston Martin got on top of the curb that he was going to get doored as Isher unloaded his car there. And yeah, I know this race has been a little bit boring for maybe some guys at home, but the rain is coming on the radar anywhere in the next hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours by the looks of it. So at the moment we're under sun, aren't we? You can't believe it's going to rain, but it's something else we need to keep an eye on.
One weekend, I get a hard car that's a soft top, and it rains at the end of the weekend. Maxime Martin, race leader, coming up to the end then of lap 13, clear by 1.4 seconds. This midfield pack, Petrobelli and friends really come through. Giacomo Petrobelli is 17th. This line takes you to about 26th place. That's quite a queue.
Yeah, like you said, he's managed to gap Isher at the moment. The problem for the second Aston Martin in the train is they're the same car, different teams, so the strengths and weaknesses are identical. So that's why I think he's struggling so hard to get past Petrobelli. I just wonder if actually the BMW gets past Liesmann in the 30 car. That would be a different question then for Petrobelli to have to answer.
Race leaders are on lap number 14. It's still Maxime Martin ahead, and there's quite a gap opening up now, 16th to 17th. James Kell is 16th, and everybody else is 17th. Look at the line of cars. It is pretty much the second half of the field. Luca Enschler is investigated for overtaking at turn 5 off the track. Turn 5 is up, of course, at the chicane. So they're out on Lesmo 1. They go. There is the Paradigm BMW, which has got James Kellett behind the wheel. He's got the WRT car of Callan Williams just up the road ahead, and behind Kellett is Kell, because the McLaren was next up. In fact, James Kellett has now got himself up past Ralph Bowen. The Herbert Porsche, there it is, has dropped back a couple of places on this lap. Bronze is Salikov, then Reece Barr, Callan Williams and James Kellett. That is the order now that Ralph Bowen has fallen back a little bit.
Now we've got some green flag laps. I'm just looking at the average pace of drivers so far, and really Maxime Martin is in a bit of a class of his own. Only 1.3 seconds ahead of Engel, but his average is the only one that's in the 1:47s right now.
Engel's just done, though, last time around, the fastest lap of the race. So Maro responding, trying to stem the tide. The gap had been creeping up, getting a replay here. This is how Ralph Byrne lost his place, because Callum Williams got up the inside, and that put Ralph offline. And James Callett's BMW breathed in there and went for the inside line, as now over the line comes the Ethan Isher Aston, and Jacopo Petrobelli dropping back because Leesmont's gone by, and up the inside goes Rolf Ineichen in that green and white Ferrari, and he gets it stopped. Yes, but here comes Petrobelli to try to have a go, no way through. Very close indeed.
Yeah, they all concertina up. I actually think Petrobelli got hit in the back from the Aston Martin, which then got hit in the back from the Ferrari there. So, yeah, Ishin, I don't think meant to overtake, but he just broke too late. And then it really concertina up all the way through Jamie Day into Sean Galal and Augusto Farfus as well in the Rover BMW. Galal on the grass, and he's going to have to go straight on there. It's slightly slower here, so he's going to have to try and do a safe rejoin. Is he going to lose any places? At the moment, he's net zero. He's just lost one to Farfus, so he got lucky there. He just got eased out wide.
Bobby Thompson, I told you, had served a drive-through penalty. He's now being looked at for speeding in the pit lane. So not a great start, sadly, for Bobby, but we'll wait and see what transpires of that as this long, long battle for 16th, 17th rather place continues. Sean Galal there going through ahead of the Hugo de Wilde BMW. And Augusto Farfus, I thought, was starting to fall back a little bit, or is Farfus finally making some progress? It is Farfus making progress, because he's now jumped ahead of Galal finally. So BMW ahead of Ferrari. Hugo de Wilde is ahead in turn of Luca Engschler. Dylan Medler next in the queue as they run down that back straight. But this second wave of cars now really has lost a big chunk of time, and the lead gap down again, 1.2 seconds, Martin to Engel.
Again, a great illustration of bronze drivers, isn't it? Petrobelli there, and he's got Augusto Farfus behind him, but Farfus can't go through. For Farfus, this would feel like wading through a ball pit while wearing some lead boots. He'll want to get through, but at the moment, he just can't make the progress through these cars, and this is the negative of stopping early.
Maxime Martin, a 3-minute stop-and-go penalty for causing a collision. Maxime Martin, 3-minute stop-and-go. That's the best part of 2 laps.
Had they done then for the 17 car? What do Get Speed do? Do they retire it, or do they keep it going? Listen, there isn't a penalty that's fit for what's just happened. Race control, a 3-minute one is almost the largest they could offer you, apart from exclusion.
Yeah, exactly, because that ruins your race, doesn't it? Because to get back on the lead, that will be virtually impossible. But as we said at the time, it is very, very rare that we talk about Maxime Martin triggering an incident. He did make a good start. He kept pushing. He had to try and push his way back into the traffic, and the net result is quite a sizable accident. And 3 minutes doesn't equate to the damage bill for the teams, but it does certainly affect their race. So in real terms, Engel is the race leader.
Yeah, we're on board here with the Corvette, and Mikkel Mack got turned around trying to come through the field. Got Dante Rapongi in front in the Optimum McLaren. In front of him is Frank Pereira, who just cut the second chicane, didn't gain an advantage. Then Benji Goethe in front. They were side by side. Look at the state of the windscreen already. They're going to do some tear-offs, but the dirt and the stones that are being fired at these cars shows you how bad the circuit is in places with what's being brought on by these drivers.
Down to the Ascari chicane. Leader has gone by. Maxime Martin staying out for another lap as the team decide when to bring him in. You can't really argue a stop-go penalty like that, as there is the race leading car, but Maxime Martin will get the news, or already have had the news, and the team will decide when to bring him in. So in real terms, it is Engel versus Picariello for the race lead.
And those two are really in a class of their own, aren't they? Equidistant gaps to the thousands between second and third and second and first. But at the moment, I really do think this is an Engel 48 car. And this was the pace I was talking about. He was so quick. He really in his own class of an average pace. What could have been? He was already having a good start. With hindsight, how would he watch that replay? What would he have done differently? And that's the problem as a racing driver. You live and die by your sword. We watch it here in a cold air-conditioned room. He swings out too wide, goes off the track. The grass comes in. He has to go over the contact now with the yellow, the red and yellow Ferrari. Squeezes everything, and that starts everything kicking off. And then Kirchhofer gets wiped out by the innocent Rivera, who then comes in and wipes out 3 more cars for good measure.
Doesn't matter how many times you see it and at what speed, it still looks horrendous. The impact But Miney and Feller suffered at the head of that. Look at the damage on the white Mustang, and Maxime Martin deemed to be responsible. 3-minute stop and go penalty. So look behind. Engel is being caught by Picariello. That's your lead battle. Picariello has now done the fastest lap of the race in that Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche coming alive. It was strong at the start of the weekend. Didn't show its hand in qualifying, we felt, but we knew it was strong over a stint. And at the moment, Picariello is showing that. That is for sure. Watching that replay as well, I'm amazed the Audi is still going off Ferrari. That got hit so hard, but that car is still on the lead lap and has actually just gone up to 27th position. Yeah, they're fighting back, aren't they? How many times past the timing line are you given before that stop-go penalty has to be served? As in, are Get Speed thinking, well, let's roll the dice here and try and keep the car out for another yellow, because 3 minutes under a yellow isn't as damaging as 3 minutes under green. Potentially, it's 3 times past the stripe. You've got to serve it, so they're running out of time now, aren't they? I believe he's crossed the line twice since the penalty was served. I think so, and he's just done the fastest lap of the race, almost like the last hurrah before they know that the game's up. The other thing to consider, the next time out for these cars in endurance is Spa 24 hours. So yes, they're out of the race, but is it worth keep going, even though you're not going to win, to get some more data for all 3 drivers? Very true. So as the cars come into view out of the first of the 2 Lesmo Bens, there Mauro Engel, there Alessio Picariello, they don't have penalties hovering over them, and it was 9/10 of a second between the pair when they went on to this lap. The Porsches have always looked sort of there or thereabouts this weekend. If you go back to the very first year of what was the forerunner to GT World Challenge, the Blancpain Endurance Series, it was a Porsche that won at Monza in the very first BES race. And don't be surprised if that Porsche comes through to win this. Dorian Boccolacci, Maurice Schuring, the other 2 drivers, both real Porsche stars, as we know. Yeah, definitely catching Engel, and Engel isn't getting compromised by Maxime Martin, who I think should peel into pit lane this time to serve that 3-minute stop and go penalty. So Martin turns out of the Parabolica, and the line that the car took didn't suggest he was about to peel to the pits, and indeed he does not. He goes on for another lap, so the team's aware that the penalty has been applied. Mauro Engel still second, Alessio Picariello third as they come through, and in 4th place Danny Junqueira. And the bigger that gap gets between 3rd and 4th, the more you start to appreciate the legacy of the damage. Yeah, exactly that. Danny Junqueira, super fast Mercedes factory driver. I'm sure that's the damage. It's just compromising him by probably 3 to 4 tenths of a second. But the problem is that's every single lap you're losing that, and someone else isn't around you. So that's why it's going to really hurt them. The penalty, they should have been second on the grid, shouldn't they? If they were there, would they have got wiped out in that one? So was the Lulham overtake under yellow 5-place grid penalty a blessing in disguise? Yeah, next year when we come here, we won't be quite so confident in saying that if you qualify at the front, you're out of jeopardy, because as we've seen, don't work like that. There is the Hugo de Wilde BMW through, 99 Audi. How was that got so little damage, considering where it was in the drama? That's Lorenzo Ferrari, and he is still in 27th place. Right, let's listen in.
I didn't do anything wrong. Head down, Maxime. Head down. Keep going. You're doing a great job. Keep going. Very good pace. Stay out. I have to look at the footage. I didn't touch your fingers now.
So Maxime Martin arguing that he didn't do anything. They need to look at the footage. I suspect they have. Yeah, claiming your innocence, I get. Adrenaline high, speed is high, all of this on the fly. Car's doing 270 kilometers an hour, while Martin is communicating with his engineer, but from the tone of the engineer, you could tell, I think the engineer agrees with the penalty they've been given. But what we haven't yet heard is box this time, Maxi. He's been told about the penalty, but is he staying out in the hope that it can be argued away, or will just disappear? They've got to serve it sooner or later, and the longer he stays out, the more hot water he's likely to be in. He's gone through again, although Engel has just done a faster lap, and therefore the fastest of the race, as they're going very nicely. He's Reece Barr in 222, the 2Cs Mercedes. He's on the back here of Charles Weerts. They've actually switched places. Weerts up to 9th and Barr 10th, but Reece trying to fight back there and regain the place. Yeah, looking racy, isn't he? And for me, Martin should have been in by now. Yeah. Maybe the penalty was given just as he crossed the line. I think he's got one more lap potentially. So this is what he's saying. There's no contact. For me, he swings out wide and the rear of his car hits Rivera. Listen for the contact. The only defense I could give Martin watching it once more is Engel brakes and he has to check up
but all of that is happening because he went off the track. That's the bit that definitely can't be argued by anyone involved with the 17 car, in my opinion.
Well, Maxime Martin certainly does not have a reputation of being a dirty driver, an aggressive driver. He's normally one of the smoothest as well as quickest, so it is unlike him to trigger an incident like that. It's put the car in the lead, but ultimately little good does it do. Out of the Ascari chicane he comes. We're on lap 20. We're 16 minutes or so away from the end of the first of the 3 hours here. Maro Engel in second place. He will have got the message, won't he, that there's a stop-go penalty for Martin, so he doesn't need to attack too much. Engel's race isn't with the car ahead, it's with the car behind.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a bit of a distraction at the moment, though. He will be getting a slight toe at that point and won't be getting the dirty air effect, so slight positive end, I think, for Maro Engel having Martin as his donkey, and Martin stays out once more. Race control have got a decision to make here as we see the fastest drivers by class, and it's obviously Maro Engel in that Pro 48 at the moment, but the pace looking good.
Now let's hear Fabian Schiller's thoughts, teammate to Maxime Martin. What did the team think? Let's get to the pits.
Well, Fabian, the news has obviously gone around the paddock of the 3-minute stop-and-go penalty. Do you think the penalty was fair? How does the team see it?
To be honest, I'm not sure. Obviously, we've seen the TV pictures. Maxime, we spoke to him on the radio, of course, as well. He said he didn't have contact with anyone. So, yeah, we need to investigate the pictures. I guess the race control has seen more pictures than we have on the TV feed. So, I don't know if the penalty is fair. I don't know if 3 minutes may be a bit much, but, I mean, it needs to be investigated. I guess they're looking at in-car footage later on as well, and then, obviously, we have a clearer picture.
Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
That was Sean Gallal clattering into Giacomo Petrobelli there, going down the chicane. And is that Ferrari who's been turned around again? Audi facing the wrong way. Off the road there has gone number 5. That's the Dante Raponge McLaren. And I think Lorenzo Ferrari, again, has found himself facing the wrong way at turn 1.
Yeah, not his happy hunting ground. Mikkel Mack as well, forced wide. I feel that was way too aggressive from Gallal in the Ferrari. It was almost like pent-up rage of Petrobelli holding him up. He just swiped across the front, which then bunched everyone up. I think race control will look at that. Of course, Schiller playing the party line. I don't disagree. If that was my teammate, I'd want the same words coming out of his mouth. But yeah, look at Gallal here, just swinging across the apex into Petrobelli, which then means they all back up, and then it's just a concertina effect, and the 99 gets turned around again at turn 2, like you said, and then Mikkel Mack causing some damage to the front of Raponge's car, took the dive planes off, I think, on that car. So more detritus over pit lane as Martin finally comes in, and I think he's just avoided getting a black flag personally. And
Maxi Goetz is going to take over that car. The car that did the turning of Lorenzo Ferrari was Ugo de Wilder's BMW.
They can't do a driver change under the stop and go, so Goetz is ready, but all they can do is wait for 3 minutes and drive back out of pit lane.
So obviously this is not one of the regulation stops, so it'll cost them a lap when it cost them 2 laps. So this is your new race leader. Maro Engel, 1.4 seconds ahead last time of Alessio Picariello, and Engel with those lightning quick reflexes, avoiding all the drama at turn 1 up the escape road. And now the race, if you like, comes to him because they've got the race lead, clear circuit ahead. Nice fresh air in the front of the Mercedes AMG, and he's just starting to edge away again from Picariello.
Another shout out to our 6th place car of Salikov there. He is having a really good run of it, isn't he? And paces look so strong for him.
The bottom way.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, and he's gaining 6th place now that Martin has pitted. And also, shout to Max Lynn, still leading silver. His first season of racing at this level. Max, who's the brother of Alex Lynn, who sadly at the moment isn't racing because he's waiting for an operation, but pole position at Le Mans last year. There is Max Lynn, driving for Bob Neville's team, the Team RJN McLaren. And although he's done quite a bit of historic racing of late, it's his first year really racing at this level. So Max going very well. His father, Sean Lynn, the man behind Motor Racing Legends, race promoter, and it's the Motor Racing Legends Run GT3 series for the older cars that we will have at the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. There's an SRO one with Peter Auto. That's already been to Spa. It's the Motor Racing Legends one that we're going to have in a few weeks' time in Belgium. So expect the name Lynn to be on the grid, perhaps in both father and son case. This second in silver is the Ivan Klimenko Santalok Audi that goes through. Maro Engel, by the way, has just done an even quicker fastest lap of the race. Now he's got clear road ahead.
Yeah, fuel coming off, so cars will get this second bite. Tyres getting worse, but the weight, around 85 kilos, will get burned in a stint here. As we see the Mercedes going to work here, Grupo Prom racing there. And this is a slight strange time to box, to be honest, and this isn't an optimal strategy for me.
And nor is that. So that's the ComTU number 11 Aston Martin that is in. That's Marcello Tomassoni. Alfredo Hernandez Ortega was in the 177, and you see Maxime Martin sitting there. 3 minutes must feel like a lifetime. Away goes 11 with a driver change having been served.
Yeah, the reason they're doing it is their bronze time has been adequately done, the 45 minutes, so they're getting the bronze out as early as they can, but under green, they're hemorrhaging time.
Luca Engstler is being given a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. That was up at turn 5 earlier on in the race, so that now is filtering through the system. So we're still waiting for many of them to make their first pit stop. Some have already done 3, and Maxime Martin serving the stop and go, not one of the mandatory 3 pit stops. Even the man with the board is bored, wanting something to do now.
Brink could have gone and interviewed him, couldn't he?
Yeah, and that's a bad sign, I'm afraid. Lorenzo Ferrari, after all his efforts, the car into the garage. So the Tresor Attempto Audi, there's damage on the front. We know he's got damage on the back. Maxime Martin rejoins, and he is just about going to rejoin as up towards him comes Engel. This determines whether he's going to go 1 lap down or 2. Engel flashing the lights to say, I'm coming. And as they get to the braking zone, 2 laps down, Maxime Martin.
Does he play the Mercedes game here and hold up Picciarello, or where are we going to see the blue flag regulation? Remember at Paul Ricard, it was a hot topic, wasn't it? And basically there it transpired. If you were getting a blue, there's a car in the wall there at Ascari.
That's a McLaren, isn't it? And it's not James Kell's car, is it?
Yeah,
it is. James Kell in the gravel, and that could well be a safety car. It's in the middle of the Ascari chicane, so turn 8, and that car up against the barriers. He's looped it. It's got into the gravel. Full course yellow is coming. Full course yellow is going to be called for. That gets everybody under control. And, of course, this is what would have helped get speed with Maxime Martin. If this had have come just a little bit sooner, that 3-minute penalty wouldn't have mattered quite so much.
Maybe you believe in karma, and 2C's getting to work early. They called that one early. They were in the box, weren't they, before the full course yellow was called. They would have done that in case it was going to be a short full course yellow. Or is there a bigger problem? Are they just checking over? They've got 46 seconds of fuel. The tyres can get done in half of that, so they might just be using this time, and they're doing left side only because Junqueira is staying aboard. Interestingly, no tape put on that just yet. I reckon that's been pulled back as they've changed the tyre. The mechanic maybe has just caught it ever so more. Or is it? No, the skates are going under. This is bad news for the 3 car.
And this is going to be a long full course yellow. So let's go to the pit lane. Lorenzo Ferrari, after all the optimism pre-race, very disappointing result in the end. Bryn Lucas is with him. Just keeping an eye on the Mercedes. Right, yes, Bryn has got himself ready with Lorenzo. Let's go there.
Lorenzo, we're looking at your car, and almost every single angle of it, there's damage.
Yeah, basically we got it on the first corner, as everyone can see. I don't know what happened, honestly. I mean, I lost 1 position, but I was, in the back, so everything was good. And then I just got hit suddenly. I also saw, not me only, a lot of cars. It's unfortunate because I think we had a great pace. Now I was coming back, but I think from the heat we got a issue that was coming slow of the gearbox, so we had to retire. Unfortunate, and yeah, it's racing.
So the retirement isn't anything to do with the sheer amount of damage to the car?
Yeah. I think we've got something with the gearbox, and yeah, so.
I see, linked to the issues. Thanks very much for talking to us. It's a shame.
Thank you.
Yeah, so not bodywork damage, but mechanical damage triggered by the contact that's just manifested itself and got worse, yeah?
Yeah, the gearbox will have a cooling system where it's got a duct to keep it in control, and that's obviously got damage beyond repair. This is what happens to James Kell by himself, and that's all the dirt that we were talking about getting dragged on, and it just looked like maybe he just put his left side tyres on that, and it just understeered off is my first call on that one, and yeah, there's going to be some big winners here. Everyone that didn't stop that first time will now be thinking, do we stop? When do we stop? You want to go as long as you can into the full course yellow to push yourself later in the race. 2C's getting to work.
but in the garage, not a good sign. So that's another car now that's going to be badly compromised. The key, as always, stay on the lead lap. That could be marginal depending on the amount of work. So Maro Engel is still the race leader. Gone.
Yeah, he's gone past them now, so they are the lap down, literally just coming past their garage now. Brutal for the 3 car.
So a long full course yellow. We'll wait and see whether it goes to a safety car for the resumption. And others are deciding that now is a good time to come into the pit lane. So again, this is where the strategists on the pit wall really earn their corner. I say on the pit wall, these days they're in a garage with about 3